always-on Apple Watches.
I'm so excited. Plus, midnight green iPhones.
Oh, you're making me cry. I love it.
It's time for iOS Today.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
iOS Today is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your online privacy with one click. It's that easy. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to expressvpn.com/iOS Today. And by Grammarly. Grammarly is a communication tool that helps people improve their writing to be mistake-free, clear, and effective. Start writing confidently by going to Grammarly.com/iOS Today and get 20% off a Grammarly premium account today. And by Aftershocks. Unbelievably comfortable open-ear headphones. Hear music and crystal clear phone calls like never before. Visit iostoday.aftershocks.com and use the code iOS Today for $50 off the tech bundle. iOS Today time. It's a very special day.
It's a holy holiday.
It is. We've opened all 25 doors on our Advent calendar, and yes, today is the day the new iPhones arrive.
I kept getting more and more AirPods in my Advent calendar. I don't need all these.
That's a good Advent calendar. Today, September 10th, is a day that will live in Apple infamy. Apple announced a bunch of new stuff, and we are here to kind of break it down, dissect it, talk about it. Just so you don't get too excited, you can't order the iPhones, the new iPhones, until this Friday, 5 a.m. Pacific time, and they won't arrive till the 20th. But did you already buy an Apple Watch, Series 5?
Series 5 Apple Watch is on the way. Well, it's not on the way,
too.
but it will be here.
Yeah, I already got one.
Now,
too.
what material did you get?
So we'll start. Actually, Apple did a funny thing with this event, and Mikah and I covered it earlier today. Normally, an Apple event has a certain rhythm, a certain routine. They start talking about sales, then they talk about retail, then usually they get pretty quick to the iPhone because the iPhone is the star of the show. This time it was completely different. They didn't talk about sales at all. Maybe because it wasn't such good news this year. They deferred talking about the stores till the very end of the day.
Yeah. And then when talking about phones, we almost felt like, are they going to announce
it was a little weird.
Types of phones?
Yeah. But we'll start at the beginning and work our way through. They announced first Arcade Plus, which is coming out September 19th, a week from Thursday.
And we got to be clear about this. So Apple Arcade is coming out September 19th for iOS 13. It is not coming out on September 19th for iPadOS and tvOS.
Oh.
And it is not coming out on September 19th for macOS. Instead, it will launch on September 30th for iPadOS and tvOS, and then sometime in October, not even a date yet, other than the month of October for macOS Catalina.
So this is the app that lets you play 100 games, and they rotate new ones in every month. Indie games, they're no in-app purchases. The games are free once you pay that $5 a month, and you can even download the games and play them offline.
Yes.
So none of them would be multiplayer, I think, as a result. They'd all have to be single-player games. They look pretty nice, and most of them, I think all of them are exclusive, at least when they first come out on Apple Arcade.
Yes, that is true. You won't be able to play them anywhere else.
And in fact, on September 19th, you probably won't even be able to play them on your iPhone since the new iPhones don't come out till the next day.
Exactly.
So you might wait to download it till you get the new iPhone, or you get iOS 13. When does iOS 13 come out?
Oh, God. It
I
launches
think that's the
September 19th. Yeah. That's the same. They launch together.
3.1, which is already out. In fact, I'm on 3.1. You probably are too.
13.1, yeah.
13.1 because it's the public beta is already out to 13.1. We thought maybe they'll release 13.1. They aren't going to do it initially, but they will a month later. 13.1 will come out for the iPhone and iPad. So iPadOS is actually not till the end of September, right?
Yeah,
September
and that's
30th.
probably when we're going to see then Apple Arcade on iPadOS and tvOS at that time.
Right.
Because it says September 30th for now. So
maybe that's the deal. Okay.
Those will come out at that point.
I'm excited about Apple Arcade. I like the price. That was the rumored price, and indeed that's the price. For 100 games, I think that's fun. They showed a new version of Frogger. Did you play Frogger in your Ute?
I did play Frogger.
It's a fun
Ute.
game.
Yeah, and at first I was kind of like, hey, don't mess with Frogger. Frogger's great.
You did say that. that out loud.
Yeah, I did out loud even.
Yeah.
Out loud even.
Don't
it
mess
wasn't
with
just
my
in
frog.
my brain even. But I.
It looked pretty cool.
Exactly. So it's a little bit different. They add some
a baby.
new mechanisms. There's a baby wearing star sunglasses.
A giant baby.
Which is dangerous.
You have to jump around him.
You have to jump around toilet paper.
Toilet paper rolls, because you're in the bathroom.
Leah was very excited about the toilet paper rolls.
I wasn't excited so much
he
as
was excited.
stunned.
Stunned by the toilet paper rolls.
Because Frogger, the traditional Frogger, you're a frog jumping across the freeway. You're avoiding trucks, cars, logs, things like that. This one is a little. You're in the unaccountably. You're in a bathroom.
Yeah, and
There's
you're also
baby.
carrying little baby frogs with you. You're sort of guiding them along the way.
Looks like a lot of fun.
It does, I like the color, the design,
And
it's
the
not
gameplay
overly done.
is just right for a touch device. You swipe up to jump and swipe left or right to dodge.
That's why I'm curious about how it will play on macOS. Are they going to make it? Are they going to take advantage of having your trackpad, or are they going to do WASD?
Spacebar on arrows, WASD. And of course, they'll all be available later someday for the Apple TV.
Yep, on September 30th as well.
I think this really makes a very compelling case for $5. I like Apple
Absolutely.
Arcade.
$4.99 a month, and you get a 1 month free trial. It's also launching in more than 150 countries, which I think is a big
coup.
thing.
That's pretty much everywhere you can get an iOS device. So that's a real coup. I think that's fantastic.
That's going to
now,
be a bump.
What
on their
remains
services.
to be seen is, for instance, that Frogger. Are there many levels, or are there 5? Are these companies going to put a lot of effort into a game that plays for months, or knowing that it's just going to rotate out, do kind of a simple game? I suspect that will be what happens.
It's interesting because we don't know the comparison between what Apple wants and what these companies want. Apple does make it clear that updates and expansions for games will be included in your subscription price. So in theory, they're expecting these games to get updates and expansions. Yeah. Whether that happens or not, I think that's going to be more of a let's wait and see how this does, and then decide if we're going to pour resources.
I'll be buying it. I'm excited. They also released finally some pricing and availability information for Apple TV Plus.
Yes.
This will be $5 also, but most of us won't be paying $5 a month because you'll get a year free if you buy a new Apple iPad, iPhone, TV, I think Mac.
Yeah, it says
everything but the watch.
iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, iPod Touch is included.
Even
which
an
I made
iPod
a joke
Touch.
about that,
Yeah.
and it is included, and the Mac. You get a year of Apple TV Plus for free. Now, what I find interesting about this, and this of course launches November 1st. With this, if you don't use that method of basically getting a year for free, then it's $4.99 per month, and then you get only a 7-day free trial.
Right.
Which
Very
is
short.
like, along with Netflix and some like Hulu, I think does a 7-day free trial.
They don't want you watching the entire show in a week. But they aren't going to do the big Netflix-style release every episode thing. They have already said in their press release, most shows we're going to release the first 3 episodes, enough to get you hooked, and then another episode every week. It'll be more like an HBO-style release. A few shows, they say, will be released in their entirety. I don't know which shows. I suspect the big marquee shows like this Jennifer Aniston morning show will come out once a week.
It's hard to say, in terms of, so shows that are available on November 1st include that C show, The Morning Show, Dickinson for All Mankind, Snoopy in Space, and a few others. But then others will be added over time, including that M. Night film.
I think they had to do this. There's so much competition in the subscription movie and TV space. Disney's coming along too soon. They had to make it affordable. It is the lowest price of them all. And even free for most people who are going to buy a new iPhone or a new iPad. So that's TV Plus.
Well, hold on, because there are a couple things here that I want to touch on. One of them that I found fascinating. We know that this service is going to be available on these different applications, or on the different platforms, right? tvOS, iOS, etc. And it's also going to be available on different smart devices through the Apple TV app. It's also going to be available if you go to tv.apple.com.
You can watch on the web.
On the web. You can watch it from a browser, which I thought was interesting.
Nice.
So Windows computer, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
You're right there.
Do you have to have Safari?
No, it says Safari, Chrome, or
good.
I don't remember what third. Firefox were the three that they mentioned.
Nice.
I'm not sure about the other ones. And then this is the other thing that I want to read a little bit from the terms and conditions, which might sound boring, but I found this part fascinating. So customers have 3 months after device activation to claim the offer for a year of free service.
So you get a new iPad, you activate it, you have 3 months to claim your Apple TV Plus subscription.
Or if the device was purchased and activated before the launch of Apple TV, like what we will be doing, you've got 3 months starting on November 1st when the service launches.
So that's a relief. The new iPhone you buy in a week and a half will still be qualified for a full year from November 1st. Good.
And then this limited time offer applies to both new and refurbished models, including devices from the iPhone upgrade program.
Nice.
People were curious about whether the iPhone upgrade program would be included in this.
You qualify.
Those do qualify for the program.
This really shows that Apple isn't trying, at least initially, to make money on TV Plus. They realize it's a very competitive environment. Nobody knows anything about their ability to create great shows. If they have a hit, maybe things will change.
And it's a little bit of hey, for folks outside of our ecosystem, here's your opportunity. Yeah. But with everybody that's inside, we care about you. We want to give you this for free as part of sort of your buy-in that you already made.
Good people for doing that. So, Arcade Plus, TV Plus,
iPad.
Next, oddly enough, I didn't expect this, iPad.
We were watching it. We both kind of sat up in our chairs when we saw, Cook's talking about the iPad. It's the 7th generation iPad now, which you can order today. It launches on Monday, September 30th. So that's when it'll be available in stores and ship out and things like that. And it only starts at $329.
Well, that's the price of the iPad it's replacing.
Yes.
And $299 if you're in education. And I think it's really important for Apple to have an entry-level iPad. This is that. They didn't upgrade the processor. It's the same A10 processor as in the current entry-level iPad. But they did add the capability to use the original Apple Pencil, and they added a smart connector, which means you can use the Apple keyboard. That's a big deal for students. And it's a little bigger. Instead of 9.7 inches, it's 10.2 inches, a half an inch diagonally.
Yeah. Not huge. Not a big difference, but a little bit.
Bezels did look very big, and yes, you still have a home button and Touch ID. So this is pretty much the previous model updated. But, and I think this is great news, they kept the same price. This is important to have this entry-level tool, I think.
Absolutely. And we kind of talked about you get this model of iPad for the college student, and then the college student gets Apple TV Plus for free along with it.
Be great.
And now you see they've got a little dongle there. They're like, yeah, you're probably going to need a dongle.
What is the dongle?
Grab files from anywhere, even one of these. Oh, I think it's just
this is iPad OS capability, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what dongle that is specifically, but it's got lightning on one side.
But what's weird, it's lightning to a male Type A USB adapter.
Old school USB.
So we saw that on screen in the demo video, and I couldn't figure it out there either. So we'll have to, I don't want to order one, but we'll have to pay attention. Now, that was the only iPad they announced, which tells me, yes, there's going to be another announcement next month, because we do know that there are at least 3, I think, new iPads in the European Commission database and other places. Those are the places that Apple has to get regulatory approval before they ship. So we know there's more iPads coming. There's been a strong rumor there'll be a 16-inch 2019 MacBook Pro, kind of a Pro version of the MacBook. And what was the third thing? Oh, yeah, iPad Pros. I think we'll see iPad Pros. iPad Pro. Oh, and the Mac Pro has to be announced. That's going to come out this year. So it's my best guess. I don't know. What do you think? That next month we'll see another event on Pro stuff.
Yes, focused on Pro stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more of the iPhone Pro at that event, at least talking a little bit more about the Pro features that are going to be available.
Yeah, they had to move pretty quickly. It was an hour and 42-minute event, and they got a lot of stuff in. We're trying to get it all in as well. Next, it's the Watch.
It's the Apple Watch, which admittedly very excited about this. The Apple Watch now features an always-on display, which is something that I think a lot of people have been wanting for a long time. It's nice with a classical watch that you can look at it at any angle, no matter whether you're in the middle of a yoga pose or you are putting away groceries or what have you.
Well, but it's a watch that tells time, finally. I think this is something long overdue. They also were able to do this because they have a new patented screen technology, LPTO, that does something I think very interesting. They're able to have a variable refresh rate on the screen. It's an OLED screen, but this new technology lets them refresh it at a normal 30 hertz, 30 refreshes a second, 60 hertz a second, or as little as 1 refresh per second. That means you don't have to put a lot of energy into refreshing the screen. If all you're doing is showing a clock, you could update it once a second. That's plenty of time, right? Yeah. So I think that that's the key to getting Apple to getting decent battery life on this. In fact, they said that they would be getting the same all-day battery life as on the existing Series 4 watch. And for the first time ever, they've actually put a number on that, 18 hours.
Yeah. That was interesting.
So good. So now you have to decide. And by the way, they've really improved the experience of shopping. As you know, if you bought an Apple Watch in the last few years, each watch came with its own band, basically. You didn't have a whole lot of choice in bands.
They chose for you, basically.
Now you choose the watch you want. Let's get the silver aluminum case with sport band. I'm going to tap Create Your Own Style, and it lets you actually try different sizes. We've got 2. We've got the 40 millimeter or the larger 44. You can even change material of the case if you want, and they have aluminum, gold aluminum, stainless steel, black stainless steel. They've got titanium in 2 shades, kind of a silvery, I guess that's a neutral titanium color, and then a anodized black color. And finally, they've got an all-white ceramic. That's going to start at $1,349 with a sport band. So let's go back the other way, please.
Let's bring the price down.
And now we can choose the band. And this is the thing I really thought was great. I bet you did too.
Oh, that green.
Did you get a green watch too?
I should have. I didn't see it whenever I was swiping through to try and quickly get it. But
well, the good news is, of course, these bands will continue to be sold separately, available separately. But it's nice to see what your watch is going to look like. And instead of just taking whatever they give you out of the box, you can try different bands. And of course, there still is the very expensive, kind of weirdly expensive $300 stainless steel link bracelet. That one's even more expensive. So
because it's got that diamond-like coating or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's whatevs.
So the cool thing about this Apple Watch Studio is that it's not just an online thing. In fact, we thought it was only going to be an in-store thing,
right?
Because in stores you can go
them all and you can try them.
Yeah, try them all out and see which one works for you before you decide on the watch that you.
You know what's missing though?
What's that?
No band. I'd love to buy just the watch because I have plenty of bands from previous watches. Way too many bands from previous watches. I would love to buy a.
Yeah, I bet Renee doesn't need one with a band.
No.
Renee Ritchie.
I'm wearing a very sporty hook and loop model. This is the what would you call that? Fluorescent pink and gray.
Yeah, I like that one.
I love these hook and loop ones. They're very comfortable. They're kind of the stretch pants of Apple Watch bands.
They are, but they're endlessly adjustable, which is nice.
Yeah.
And when did that green one show up there? I didn't see that either.
That's back in the fluoroelastomer section.
Oh, okay.
You probably didn't even spend any time in the fluoroelastomer section.
The floor master one.
In fact, let's see how inexpensive we could get this thing. If we got a 40 millimeter and we got it with the least expensive gray aluminum case, and we got it with the least expensive sport band, $399. But do not fear. Apple will continue to sell, not last year's, not the Series 4. They're discontinuing that, but 2 year ago version, the Series 3 watch, and that's going to start at $199. I think that's a great entry-level price.
That's an excellent price.
Yeah.
That's everybody in the family. You could get an Apple Watch, maybe. But I really do like that that option to be able to.
This is nice.
Get somebody into.
So what'd you get?
And I know the Series 3 is great. So for me, I went 44 millimeter space gray aluminum.
Thank you.
And I got that with, and I'll always go space gray aluminum. It's my favorite.
That's what I have right now. It looks great. There's nothing wrong with it, right?
And I got oh man, I don't remember what band I got.
Well, the good news is, and again, I've got to commend Apple for this. They could easily have made these lugs proprietary or change them with every model. Same bands that you bought for the very first Apple Watch will work with this watch. That is great. As long as you get the same size. That's
I got
really
the blue
great.
band, the blue Sport Loop.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's the watch you're going to get. You can order today. It will be delivered. What did it say? I forgot.
September 20th.
Nice.
Friday.
The same time as you get your new iPhone. Very nice.
That's
the Apple
actually
Watch 5.
really nice. So I can pair them. I can pair it on that day. I don't have to sort of, play the pairing game with the current iPhone that I have.
Right.
Sort of open it up.
It does it pretty quickly and easily, but it'd be nice not to have to do that. All right.
See, I wish there was more to the Apple Watch.
Well, there were some new things. I think the Always On, as you said, was a big deal. They talked about 3 new health studies you could participate in. One for hearing, one for your heart, and I think one for movement. It was unclear if it was heart and movement together.
Yeah, because that was kind of a twofer, it seemed. I'm going to check out here.
But I think we'll all probably sign up for that.
I love to sign up for those.
You want to support that.
You support it, and basically by doing so, then you're helping other people who need it. Hearing, women's health, and then mobility and heart health is the third one.
Women's health, I forgot that. I don't know why I forgot that, but that's actually pretty important because that's going to help people. We were talking about this on Mac Break Weekly. One of the things people, I'm sorry, I'm getting my face in the way. So I just wanted to see. I wanted to check the date. Yeah, see, September 26th. You're going to get yours before I get mine.
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, I didn't order it right away.
Oh.
I ordered it a couple of hours afterwards. So some of these watches are going to arrive later.
Now, who's ordering your iPhone? Because you need to get it on day one.
5 a.m. on Friday, I will be getting up early.
Okay, so you are going to be doing
heck
it.
yeah.
Okay.
And I use the Apple Card. I wonder if my Apple Card is a new color.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I should be. No.
What's
Same old white.
on?
That's boring. I thought I'd have a little...
Yeah.
What color do you get when you buy stuff from Apple?
Maybe it's just white.
White. Nothing.
You can't see
you
the
get
blur.
no color.
It's just white.
You get no color. All right. So what else is new in the Apple Watch?
Compass.
Compass.
An elevation, actually, I think is kind of interesting.
But and that's going to be part of... That could be a complication on some of the new watch faces. But you can also see your exact longitude, latitude, elevation, and heading in one app. I think for orienteers, that's going to be good if you're orienteering or something like that. It's kind of a silly feature.
See, the watch has a great sense of direction, which is something I don't have at all. So
yeah, but honestly, if you're looking, you don't know where you are, you're trying to get to the studio, and I tell you, what's north by northwest? No, nobody says that.
If you tell me that, I would think
turn
you
left
were
at
trolling
Denny's.
me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
there you go.
There you go. Spin it.
North by northwest.
North by northwest. I think
is that true north or is that magnetic north? What are we looking at there?
Who knows? No one knows. What other features? What else is new?
Direction.
What else is new in the Apple Watch? Is that everything?
Hey, what else is new?
What else is new?
No, just those materials are the kind of big thing.
And always on. Battery life is the same.
We need to talk about actually the
sleep tracking.
That's not there.
Not
International calling was they're really on that. So international emergency calling.
Oh, these are emergencies. This is good.
Is a new feature. So in 150 countries, even without your iPhone nearby, customers can call emergency services directly from the Apple Watch.
That in Turkey that number is 744-3820-99441.
7. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And that's important because you probably don't.
Nope.
And if you call that number and you're having a heart attack in Turkey, I apologize. That's not the number.
Oh, my God.
Please don't use that number.
Please don't use that number.
I made that number up.
Now, I want to... what I find fascinating, so we talked about the screen refresh rate changing when the iPhone or when the watch turns away. But it's also every single face they redesigned to make the least amount of battery life possible.
But it sounded like your complications still would work.
Complications
would still work. You still get some feedback about what's going on. For instance, they showed a woman working out, and this happens to me all the time. I'm working out. I'm trying to find my heart rate, and I have to go like this and tap it. It'd be very nice just to be able to look over and see what your heart rate is, that kind of thing.
Can we show my screen? So this number, the big number watch face, is normally filled in. These characters are filled in when you're looking at your watch.
Fewer pixels means less juice.
Here with the low battery mode,
it's an OLED screen.
It's they keep those parts dark, so it switches back between the two. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Should we get to the star of the show?
The star of the show is not the Pro. The star of the show is the phone for people on the go.
iPhone 11.
It's the people's phone.
First of all, We've abandoned Roman numerals.
Thank God.
It is 1-1.
You know
11.
what's happened?
What?
Johnny Ive doesn't work at Apple anymore.
Oh, was he the Roman numeral guy? I studied Latin for 14 years.
Right, I feel like he'd be the Roman numeral guy.
Yeah, I think he's the Roman numeral guy. So it is the iPhone 11.
No way
That's the official name now. And this was the very funny thing because Apple didn't even mention that there'd be more than one. They started and went on and on.
And on and on and on and
about
on.
this. They said the most popular iPhone this year was the iPhone XR with its better battery life, its single lens. This is essentially the XR replacement. In fact, it starts at $699, so it's $50 less than the XR starting point. It has two lenses, a wide angle and a normal lens. Super
wide and then ultra wide, isn't that?
Oh well, okay. Yeah, wide and ultra wide.
The wide is the normal one.
Yeah, 28 millimeters and 13 millimeters, I think they said. So the camera is pretty good. It's better than the XR camera. It is a new processor as well. It is the A13 Bionic.
Yes.
I got to get the naming right.
Yeah.
A13 Bionic. They didn't spend a lot of time talking about the processor. 6.1-inch Retina display. It's an LCD display, much like the XR. This is, I think, pretty much the same as the XR with a bump. It's kind of almost call it the XRS instead of the 1011. But they did add a camera, so the hardware is a little different. You'll have to get a different case. This is going to be, I think, a very, very popular phone, especially given the price, $599.
Especially given the price and the slow fees.
Okay, Apple coined a new phrase.
And night mode. We got to talk about that too.
We'll talk about night mode.
So
but
much.
Slow fees. What is a slow fee?
So the front-facing camera now got an improvement just in general. It's a better camera.
It's now fully 12 megapixels, right?
Yes.
And it has wide angle, right?
Wide angle. And it, of course, is the true depth camera. So it has, your great features for portrait mode and things like that. But it added slow-mo video. And in doing so, Apple has attempted to, I go back to Mean Girls and think, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's stop trying to make slow fees happen. But are attempting to coin a new phrase here, which is a slow motion video of yourself.
A slow-mo selfie.
Otherwise known as a slow-mo selfie, otherwise known as a slow fee. Now, I was skeptical at first. Thank you. However, when they did the cute little video.
The video is funny.
It was, and for folks who didn't see it earlier, I just like the idea that this influencer clearly was using her younger sibling to help her take video where her hair was flying behind her.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty clever. And I could definitely see people doing slow fees. When I was hiking and went to the ocean and the water was, going wild behind me, that would have been a great slow fee to have. So I'm bullish about the slow fee. I'll be investing in the slow fee specifically.
They didn't do a lot of specs. They talked a lot about how you'd use it. This was clearly the phone for normal people.
Yes.
And then Apple drew a line and said, all right, that's the iPhone 11. Now let's talk about our Pro models. And I think this is really interesting. It's, I think, part of an overall trend at Apple to acknowledge that there's two kinds of users. There's a basic consumers. They're just going to buy an iPhone because everybody has an iPhone. They've always had an iPhone. And then the other kind of consumers, are you registering? What are you doing? What I think you're doing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you as soon as he's done. So they just said, you know what? There's really two markets for iPhones. There's the normal person who's just going to buy an iPhone, and then there's people like us, maybe people like you, who are enthusiasts who care about the chip that's inside, who care about how many megapixels, who care about the technologies. And for that, they've made the iPhone Pro. They also are willing to spend more money, and the iPhone Pro starts at $999. It has three lenses now. It has a 28 millimeter, a 52 millimeter, and a 13 millimeter lens. So I guess kind of what Apple calls telephoto, which is the 52 millimeter, normal, which is the 28 millimeter, and then a super ultra wide, which is the 13 millimeter. That's 120 degrees. That's a pretty big field of view.
Huge. It's this is I think, who was it? It was Karsten earlier who mentioned it was the fidget spinner's camera.
It does look like a fidget spinner, doesn't it? The three camera bumps, beneath it the flash. And above it, I think a sensor for, I'm not sure, maybe a depth sensor. We're going to learn more about all of this stuff, but I was very impressed with the cameras. As you mentioned, they now have kind of caught up with Google. Google's night site was an incredible feature that let you take pictures in pretty much zero light. Apple now can do the same thing in very much the same way, taking 9 pictures at once, stacking them to give you a low-light photograph that is looks like it's well lit. They call that their night mode?
Night mode,
not night sight, but it's pretty much a catch-up. Same thing with the wide angle. We've seen wide-angle triple lens cameras from Samsung and from Huawei. So they're catching up there too. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of computation they do. This is a very powerful processor. It is a 7-nanometer super processor, 8.5 billion transistors.
And they really got into it.
And they started talking about all those details, which I like. There's a lot of machine learning on here. There's a very fast graphics processor. And they showed video. This is a professional cinematographer and professional director shooting video with the camera. And what's really interesting, this video is also edited in the camera.
On an iPhone.
On an iPhone. And that is really an incredible thing. Of course, your mileage may vary. These are trained professionals.
Yeah, and, not everybody has the stuff required to shoot it. We talked about you need a cherry picker for some of the things.
Literally, we're on a cherry picker looking down at a skate park. At least Phil Schiller admitted it.
He did, yeah. He didn't let that slide by.
The new patented Apple iPhone drone. No. I'm excited. I think the 11, we'll probably get a Pro, right? I would expect.
Yeah.
You're going to get the Max, the big size?
No.
You're going to get the little size.
So well, Leo, the problem is I know that this is not me having to pay for it, but I still felt like whenever I went and configured what a Max looks like.
Don't worry about that.
But have you seen it?
Yeah, it'll be $1,500 if you get the 512 megabyte version.
There's a MacBook Pro available for less money than a full service.
But I don't know if you saw, but my watch costs $1,249. At this point, it's just funny money.
It's funny money.
I'll let Lisa write the check, and we'll just you don't have to worry about it.
Speaking of,
we're going to save coupons. I don't know what we're going to do. Did you get Slowfy.com?
I got Slowfy.net and Slowfy.org.
Okay, that's what he was up to.
Yeah, I just
you spelled it wrong, dude.
Wait, no, I didn't. Oh, I did, didn't I?
Slowfy, PH.
Oh no.
I think it's an F, isn't it?
I think it is.
Selfies with an F.
Oh no! Somebody's gonna hop on.
You have the.
Oh no!
Quick! You didn't see this. Whatever you do, if you're watching live, don't go to hover.com, our fine sponsor, and register. Slowfy.blog is all that's left. Slowfy.tech, and they're expensive. Slowfy shop,
no,
cloud, computer.
Slowfy.tech.
God, I'm so sorry. Somebody already. You know what? To make you feel better, I am sure Apple has Slowfy.com.
Oh, I'm
already.
sure.
Slowfy.fashion.
Slowfy.inc.
Slowfy.gallery. Slowfy photography.
Where?
How about that?
Do they have Slowfy.photo? Now, that would be a good one.
That's a good one.
But that's $30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have Slowfy.camera.
Yeah, you should.
I should.
You
Actually,
should
I have
buy
Leo.camera, which I love.
All right, I'm getting Slowfy.tech.
No, don't. Can I talk you out of it?
Yeah,
Can I talk you down? You got 2 useless domains already.
I know. What did I do?
Because you were rushing.
I was.
Never rush.
I was doing it during a show for a bit.
No, I do that too, though. How many domains have I registered in the middle of a show? I'm excited about the iPhone 11 Pro Max. No, iPhone Max. What is it?
iPhone 11 Max Pro Premium.
No.
Ultra.
iPhone 11. I think, does Max come first or Pro come first? I think it's the iPhone 11 Pro Max.
I think it's iPhone 11 Pro Max as well.
That sounds right?
Mm-hmm. Because it's the
11
Pro model,
Pro,
and then you can get it
Pro
in
Max.
regular or Max.
How big is the Max? 6.8?
Oh my God, 6.5.
6.5 and 6.1 for the 11.
It's where's the? Why can't I find
screen
the
size? Look at that. The other thing I'm a little worried about, we'll see when we get it, is the camera bump seems rather massive.
Yes, it is.
You're going to need a case just so you can put it down flat.
Now, you notice they're very careful. They say, the way they machined it, it's sort of like It's not a sharp edge or whatever, but
it's still going to rattle back and forth.
It will.
6.5 inches for the Max and 5.8 inches. Really? So that's interesting. So the iPhone 11 Pro is only 5.8 inches. The iPhone 11 is 6.1 inches, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max is 6.5
So they went a little bit
inches.
smaller.
Yeah.
Because people, were talking about one of the small phones.
Yeah.
Maybe more people have small hands than
I think you
realize.
want a big phone, especially if you're going to edit video on this thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, splurge. Get yourself a big phone.
All right. I'll change my favorites out. By the way, folks, if you're wanting to make sure you can get your phone on time, a little tip. In the Apple, they say use the Apple Store app. I've had good and bad times with the Apple Store app. And you should go into the Apple Store app.
Right now? Could I do it right now?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
And view product. And then
choose what you want.
Choose what you want. So go through all the questions.
Okay.
So no, you don't want to trade in. Yeah, you want the Max.
Ooh, what color? Now you went midnight green.
Oh, midnight green.
Space gray. That seems
boring.
Boring.
But you're going to put a
Silver,
case on it. So.
Black. I always go for gold, and I feel like that's kind of chintzy. That's like the Elvis Presley model. But
I don't know. It could be. You know what would be really pretty?
What?
Is gold with a green case.
Yeah.
I know I'm saying green,
Dream
again, but
on.
gold and green would look good.
Now, I am because I think we're going to be shooting a lot of video on this thing. I'm going to go with a 512
Oh,
gig.
God. See, I was just...
You should too. No.
All right.
No time to cheap out. Now, one thing we do know now, which is great, is that Apple will be day and date selling these without a SIM card and without a carrier if you want, and unlocked. So this is the SIM-free version. It's the same price. Activate with any carrier later. $14.49.
I think that's a good idea.
I think that's good. Now, this was your tip. I've gone through it.
Yes.
I've picked everything I want, but I can't buy
You can't, but you can in the top right corner.
Yeah, right up here.
Right up there. You can hit that little heart. Oh, it's a favorite.
Now
if
I go to my favorites, will it be in my bag?
I'm not sure where it is on the iPad. You should have a little.
It's probably under my account, so I'll tap my head.
There's your head. Where's your head? That's what I was looking for.
I'm looking for my head. There's my head.
There's your head.
If I tap my head, I can go to my favorites.
Yes.
And it's all ready to go, and all I have to do is check out now.
Bada bing, bada boom. Scroll down to the bottom and click continue because it'll be available at that time.
Yeah. So 5 a.m. This is good because you don't really want to be thinking things at 5 a.m. Although I felt bad. We had Doc Rock on Mac Break Weekly. He's in Hawaii. It'll be 2 a.m. for him.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And you were all excited because you thought now that you're California time, you wouldn't have to stay up late.
Every time I would have to wake up or stay up late, to order my iPhone, I thought, oh, yeah, I get to be smug about it being just midnight. And
then
now
Apple changes at 5 a.m.
They said,
Pacific.
listen. I'm really mad I bought these stupid domains.
Is it too late to cancel?
I wish it wasn't.
Slofi.
I'm so mad.
What can he do with Slofi?
What am I going to do with it? It's like sloughing off.
Slofi.
Such a bad...
You didn't even get .com.
There was no .com for that either.
Yeah, I'm sure Apple registered those, and if not, some savvy listener got it the minute they saw it. All right, I think we're done. I think that's everything. Is there anything that we did not cover? There was no band, no YouTube performance, no free album. At the very end, Deidre, the new Apple store manager, what's her last name? I can't remember. The woman who took over for Angela Ahrens came on stage and, of course, talked about the fact, and we knew this, that the Apple Fifth Avenue store, their kind of flagship store in New York City, will be opening on September 20th.
Yes.
Day and date with the release of the iPhone.
So she said, or was it Tim? One of them said, it will be great to see you all there.
That's what Tim Apple said, we'll see you there.
Tim Apple?
So,
I'll see you there, pal.
We're going.
I'm sure he's going to be there.
Yeah. You think I bet he will.
Yeah.
Sure, why wouldn't he?
Well, yeah.
All right.
He's going to be there, and we'll be there. And
is there news? I think we just did the news, but we'll see if we can find any other news.
Yeah,
but,
I don't really have any news
and questions.
in the docu.
Yeah, we still have app caps. Don't worry.
We've got app caps.
But first, a word from our sponsor, a great app to put on your new iPhone or your new iPad or your Macintosh or your Android or Windows device. ExpressVPN. Whenever you're traveling about in this fair nation of ours, using open Wi-Fi access spots, hotel Wi-Fi, coffee shop Wi-Fi, you really ought to be using a VPN to protect your security and your privacy. A virtual private network encrypts all the traffic from your computer to the outside world, so nobody could spy on what you're doing. Nobody could try to break in and hack you. Now, it's very important, though, when you use a VPN to choose the best VPN. There are bad VPNs out there, especially those free VPNs. They're capitalizing on you somehow. ExpressVPN is the best VPN, and we know that because they recently went through a third-party audit. Those results came out a few weeks ago, and it said, yes, ExpressVPN does not log. It protects your privacy. Awesome. And this new feature that ExpressVPN has introduced, Trusted Server, does exactly what ExpressVPN says it does. Trusted Server is running on the VPN server on their side. It prevents the operating system and apps from ever writing to the hard drive. That means no matter what you do, there's no way ExpressVPN can make a record of it. It's a whole new standard of privacy and security, and it should reassure you that ExpressVPN is the most private, the most secure. It's also the fastest. With servers all over the world, that means you can emerge onto the public internet in the country of your choice. It's so fast, you won't even know you're using a VPN. They've got apps for every platform. One click and you're protected. It's easy to turn off too. ExpressVPN is the fastest VPN I've ever used. And with a 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no reason not to try it right now. Actually, I have the best deal of all for you. Protect your online activity today and find out how you can get 3 extra months free when you buy a 1-year package at expressvpn.com/iOS today. expressvpn.com/iOS today. Privacy advocates, security-conscious users the world over have been using ExpressVPN for years. I have too. You want to try it? expressvpn.com/iOS today. We really love it. I guess all the news
we got some
came
news
from Apple, but there's a little bit.
There's some ooey news.
Ooey.
No, it is still Apple. It's still Apple, but it's news. So Apple, there's a new chip that's going to be in the iPhone.
Yeah, Apple didn't mention this, but there was some text on the website. They call it the U1 chip.
Yes.
It's a motion sensing chip.
Now, this chip is an ultra-wideband chip, which means it sends out ultra-wideband radio signals.
It's like beaconing.
Yes, on a whole nother level. It's 100 times more accurate than Bluetooth 5 and way more accurate than Wi-Fi. And what they're showing right now is with AirDrop, where in iOS 13 and with one of these new devices, you'll be able to pull up your phone, do an AirDrop, and then see spatially where your friends are in relation to you.
You can face them.
You can face them. You can make sure that you're sending it to the right person, basically.
So this is going to be great for Find My, but it's also going to be great for something that was rumored that Apple did not announce today, which is a Bluetooth tracker.
Well, Bluetooth, yes, but it's also likely to have the ultra-wideband
U1 tracker,
yeah,
which will make it possible to find stuff under a couch or in a cushion.
And use AR along with it.
I love this. This is going to be a very interesting chip. This is actually an upgraded version of a chip that's been on iPhones for years that gives you the motion sensing, the accelerometer, the GPS, that's probably has something to do with the compass. All of the kind of real-world sensors are all going to be upgraded by this new U1 chip. So
what I like about that is the possibility of then in future devices, regardless of whether it's a MacBook or an iPad or what have you, include this U1 chip in there. And suddenly, if I have lost my iPad and am trying to find my iPad, then I can get even better understanding of where the device is without having to have did I put it in the ceiling again?
Yeah, but it will give you that kind of directional stuff. I think that's really great. There was a story in the New York Times, I think it was on, I want to say yesterday, maybe it was on Sunday, about Apple's App Store search. Did you see that?
Yes.
And I thought it was a really interesting article. It was, as often the case with the New York Times, it was beautifully produced too. It shows what happens if you search for, this is in May 2018, so this isn't current, this is last year, a podcast in the app. The first result after an ad would be a podcast app from Apple. That's fine. That's to be expected. The next one would be the Compass app, the Find My Friends app, the Tips, the Apple TV, the Watch, and more Apple apps that have nothing to do with podcasting.
What?
And this was kind of seen by the New York Times and others as really just a blatant way to hijack searches. It's one of the reasons we've for a long time said searches on the App Store are terrible. Finally,
all the way, you'd have to scroll that far.
After 14 apps, You finally get one made by a different publisher. Now, I don't know if it's still the case. Apple, yesterday, after this New York Times article, there was a similar one in the Wall Street Journal, said we're changing our algorithm, our search algorithm in the App Store to downplay Apple apps. So it will remain to be seen how good a job Apple did of that. But this was, I thought, kind of bad timing from the New York Times point of view. The day before Apple's big iPhone announcement, they came out with this. But I think a lot of us have known that Apple's search in the App Store, I didn't think it was really favoring Apple apps so much as just
was bad.
Just doing a terrible job. Apple said this was not on purpose. It was an artifact of the way we do searches. Okay, maybe. Has something to do with the popularity of apps. That's ranked along with how relevant the search result is.
Well, of course, these are the most popular apps because they're on everyone's devices.
Everybody's got them. So in any event, Apple says they're going to fix that. So that's good news. If you saw that New York Times article, it did kind of confirm a lingering feeling. And I've complained about this many times that you just can't find an app when you're searching for it on the App Store.
I was going to say,
we face that all the time.
I was curious, Leo, what's your method for, like, on a given day, how do you learn about new apps?
You want to know?
Yeah.
I Google it.
You
swear to God.
Yeah.
If you go into a browser and Google the name of the app in iOS or the name of the app in Apple, almost always you will get as the first search result the correct link into the App Store. Almost never will you get that link if you search in the App Store.
And there's a pro tip. If you want to make sure you do get it every time, type in the name of the app and then put on the App Store.
Oh,
next
that's a
to
good,
it.
that's a
because
great
that
trick.
is the exact heading that the Apple app gives in a Google search result.
That is a really, really great tip. All right.
That's how I find when you share your app caps with me, or when we're talking about apps, I use Google.
We use Google. I think anybody knows that's the way to do it. I'm out of curiosity. Let me just see if it's better now. I'm going to search for podcast in the App Store and see what we get these days. Apple Podcasts, an actual podcast, Podcast One Player, Podcast App, Breaker, the social podcast app, Think Big Radio podcast. So this is good. These are all at least podcasts. I don't see Twitten here. I do see Audible, which sort of has podcasts. But most everything else is a podcast player. So good. Apparently Apple has at least fixed that search. Any other news? Oh, you were showing it. Let's see it. The Apple Store. So when Apple showed this on stage, it looked like it was just regular glass, but it is kind of iridescent, and there are a lot of pictures of it that show it isn't completely transparent glass. It's kind of an iridescent glass. We'll get a better look at it, of course, a week from Thursday when we join Tim Apple in the new Fifth Avenue Apple
actually in
store.
A cherry picker above the Fifth Avenue.
Oh yes, Apple's getting us a cherry picker so we can do our show from high above.
Although I think we are contractually obligated to call it an apple picker.
Have you ever been to the Fifth Avenue store?
Never in my life.
Nor have I. I've walked by it because it was boarded up the last time I was in New York.
The last time I was in New York, the Twin Towers were still up.
That's actually 18 years ago. Tomorrow.
Whoa, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's actually one of the kind of interesting side stories. It has nothing to do with iOS, but kids who were born on September 11th will be 18 tomorrow.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? 18 years ago.
Wow. I thought it was kind of interesting. We've talked in the past about the location services, the new location services stuff that's in iOS 13.
Mm-hmm.
And now it pops up a lot and it'll say, hey, this app has been tracking your location.
I love this so much.
Do you want to keep letting it track your location, or would you like to make it stop tracking your location? Here's exactly the different places that it's seen you've gone.
If I had to pick one thing in iOS 13 that's the most important, I would say it's this.
I 100% agree. You know why? Because along with privacy, along with security, so many everyday people that I know, my family, for example, the things they complain about the most are battery life.
Right.
And even with long battery life, like they're not the ones who, like me, every time I'm around a charging pad, I set my phone down. They're not doing that. And so even if they're not considering it from a privacy standpoint, the amount of location data that Snapchat is pulling, that Facebook is pulling, that all these different apps are pulling.
And selling in most cases.
And selling. It eats up so much battery
Yeah.
making those connections. And you know, some of the worst offenders are actually those apps that parents put on their kids' devices.
They're snooping on them.
To keep control over the situation, because those ones are up to like, I think 1 second updates on the location.
So it kills your battery, but now you're going to get a warning that says this app just got your location in the background. Do you want to always allow that? Only allow it when the app is open, or never allow it.
Yes.
And I think this is where Apple really is great at privacy. This was always Steve Jobs' line. Let them know again. Keep asking until they say, stop asking me. Make sure users know what's going on. And I think this is going to be a very important part of iOS 13.
So in response, because iOS 13 will be coming out soon.
So who would this most impact?
Let's see. Well, maybe Facebook? Because it turns out, according to Facebook is better with location.
Oh, so much better.
It helps improve ads.
Sure.
And keep you and the Facebook community safe.
And let you stay in touch with friends and family.
So this is
a direct response to iOS 13. There's just no question in my mind.
Look, the new version of iOS called iOS 13 will send people reminders about which apps can access their precise location information when they're not using.
Don't turn it off in Facebook, please.
And it's showing you in here how to access the location settings. And if you turn them off, here's how you turn them back on. When you receive these notifications, make sure you choose to allow it. Otherwise, you're going to run into an issue.
No, you won't. Only allow when the app is open. Facebook doesn't need to know where you are when the app's not open.
No.
In fact, even a mapping app doesn't need to know where you are when the map's not open.
Agreed.
I always say only when the app's open.
Weather is the only one that gets my pass.
If you want, the only reason is if you want notifications. And I suppose you could say, oh, I like it when Facebook tells me that I'm near Mikah. You know, Mikah's next door. And you would need it for that. Otherwise, Facebook wouldn't know that unless you launched the app. But I don't think it's worth it.
No.
Frankly, I don't put Facebook on any mobile app.
No, not anymore.
It's because of the privacy issue, but also because of the battery issue. Incidentally, we didn't mention this, but a very good piece of information from Apple. Big time increases in battery life on all the iPhones. On the iPhone 11 Pro Max, they're saying it'll be 5 hours longer than the iPhone XS Max.
I don't need it that much battery.
That's almost 2 days at that point. Don't charge it overnight. Charge it later in the day or something. I don't know. That's great.
I like that because
I don't know how they're doing that.
I don't know. As a person who uses my phone quite a bit, I am not using it. But then again, I don't use a lot of the apps like Snapchat and things. I really feel like this is a Pro phone. I'm having a conversation with myself.
I don't know what he's talking about. Some of this does come from that iOS 13 feature that says don't let these apps run in the background and don't let these apps get your location in the background. But a lot of it is also this new A13 Bionic chip is a 7-nanometer process, a very tiny chip. Even though there's more transistors on it, it actually uses less power.
They talked a lot about efficiency with this.
It's really great.
We had all the different parts lighting up and things like that.
I feel like Apple really nailed it with today's announcement.
I do.
I'm very excited.
I was concerned, honestly, that we were going to see kind of a boring jump and I wasn't going to be that into it. And I do feel like they nailed it. Yep. And they did a good job of showing, like we talked about, the People's Phone. They showed everyday settings with the People's Phone. It was the phone falling into a person, like getting hit by chapstick and crumbs and things like that. And it's like spilling iced coffee onto it.
It's so clear that they've made this distinction between the Pro phone and the regular phone. I for one, I think a Pro user willing to spend more money for high-end features, I'm glad to see that. I think it's great to have that choice. Let's take a break. When we come back, do you have some questions?
There's no new feedback right now. I was hoping we would get some for the new iPhone launch.
Let's see if the chat room has any questions for us.
Yeah, good idea.
But if in the meanwhile, if you have questions, it's too late for today's show, but for next week's show, please email iostoday@twit.tv. It's fine to write it in text. We'd love it if you'd record audio. Even better if you'd record video. If you do audio or video, keep it to under 30 seconds and start with your first name only and your city. But we do love those. So please email iostoday@twit.tv. Our show today brought to you by Grammarly. What a great tool this is for anybody who writes. Grammarly is a communication tool that helps people improve their writing. So you're mistake-free, you're clear, you're effective. Really think of it as your assistant looking over your shoulder in a nice way, not a mean way, to make you look and sound smarter. You can improve your communication at school, at work, almost anywhere with Grammarly. And it's a really good feeling when Grammarly says, that email message is perfect. You fixed all the problems, or you made it super clear. I love that feeling. I get the Grammarly premium message every week in my email telling me how smart I am, how many new words I use. And look, I have great grammar. I think my spelling is very good, but I still get lots of useful information when I use Grammarly. Help yourself show your best self through writing. And by the way, Grammarly is available everywhere. Online browser extension, desktop editor, mobile keyboard checker. It's available in Chrome. It's available in Firefox. It's available in Safari. Even Edge on Windows, the new Edge browser. Of course, iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac too. Grammarly Premium does spelling and grammar, but also advanced punctuation, structure, style within context, vocabulary suggestions, conciseness. One of my favorite features is the readability scoring. So if you're writing, a blog post, you might want to aim it at a more general audience than, say, an essay for college or a business proposal. And Grammarly will help you tune your writing so that it's accessible but professional. I think it's so great. No more email typos on your phone. Close more deals with your emails. Yes, it can help you do that. And, of course, it'll help you even write a resume so you can get that new job. Go to Grammarly.com/iOS today and get 20% off your Grammarly Premium account. 20% if you go to Grammarly.com/iOS today. We thank Grammarly so much for making me a better grammarer. And Grammarian.
That was Grammarly that corrected that one.
Yes. Thank you, Grammarly. And thanks to Grammarly for supporting our show. You want to support it, go to Grammarly.com/iOS today. Grammarly.com/iOS today. Speaking of battery life, I did get a question from somebody who says, he was talking about his Android device, but he said, a lot of times I'm running something in the background and it doesn't keep running. And what's going on? And I think that there are the iPhone and we'll be interested to see if iOS 13 is even more aggressive in this, is very careful about letting stuff run in the background. But you can tell some stuff to run in the background by going to the general settings.
Yes, so here we go. I love this one.
I thought I would show you that. Here's under general, settings general, allow apps to refresh their content when on Wi-Fi or cellular in the background. So this actually is a double-edged sword because you notice these are all on and everything will be on by default. This might be something you want to turn off. Do these programs, does 23andMe need to run in the background? No. Air France, yeah, maybe, because I'd like to get notifications about a plane if I'm at the gate, but Amazon doesn't need to run in the background. Neither does, well, Amazon Music, yeah, I probably would want that to run in the background. Amazon Photos, maybe not. So go through these. This will absolutely improve battery life. It will also perhaps improve your bandwidth usage in cellular, and it's a great thing to look at. So this was a question about Android specifically, and I showed our caller how to do that on Android, but you can do it in iOS as well. Background app refresh. You might want to take a look at that. This is iOS 13, by the way. You like the new dark mode?
Yes. So we actually got a question. Now I'm remembering one that was just over Twitter, and it said, I was watching iOS today, and your iMessage chats had a black background. What's going on?
Well, we live in the future.
Yeah, we hopped in the time machine and went to the future. It's dark mode for iOS 13.
I notice you're not using it right now. Do you go back and forth?
This is from the app.
Oh, okay.
This is an app.
And this is a problem. So you're in an email app, and the email app is in white bright mode. And actually, that's almost worse because you've been in dark mode, your eyes are relaxed and rested, and then all of a sudden you open your email app and it's bright.
Now, so this app might have a dark mode. I think
in time what you're going to see is more and more apps have dark mode, and what they should do is honor the iOS setting.
100%.
They should say, does Mikah run in dark mode? Okay, then I should use my dark mode unless he tells me otherwise.
Slack has actually recently updated with that feature to basically you have an automatic setting to say, yes, just follow what I request. We did get a question here.
Before you go on, I just want to show people.
Oh, yeah.
When you get iOS 13, and you will in about a week, you can go into the settings app and display and brightness, and you'll get your choice between light, That's light and dark. There is a third choice. I don't use this. I wonder who does. This is automatic, and what it'll do is it'll let you set a schedule. Typically, you'd go sunset to sunrise. So when it's the bright daytime, you'd want to keep it in light mode. And when it's after dark, maybe you'd go into dark mode. You could even set your own custom schedule as well using a time of your choosing. I honestly just want to be in dark mode. I just feel that's easier to read.
I used to have it set automatic for my Mac, but with iOS, I want it dark all the time.
You know, it's funny. I use light mode on my Mac.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess because I'm sitting at a screen and there's windows and stuff, and I just don't want my Mac to be dark. But I use this more when I'm sitting at a couch in a darkened room, or and so I just
that makes
I just
sense.
Feel like it makes this is what I want. So
more bigger.
Oh yeah, we should. You know what? As long as we're talking iOS 13, we've done this already, but there are some new features in iOS 13, including the size of your icons. You can have bigger icons, or you can have more icons on the screen. And don't forget, and Apple does a really nice job with the new iOS 13. When you get it, you'll be offered this Today mode. You can configure it. It's essentially what was in your notifications, or your what do they call that? Not notifications.
Golly,
I've forgotten now.
Yeah, now I've forgotten too. I want to say Control Center, but that's not what it was.
No, but they call this now
View.
Today View, and you can keep this on your home screen, which is really great. Pin the ones that you always want to use. Of course, for me, it's my calendar and my weather.
Same.
Yeah, because that's what you would always want to use. Then you could show what else shows up as you scroll up, and these are the widgets you could add if you don't want to. This is a really, almost everything now has a Today mode
Some
widget.
sort of widget, yeah.
But I really think that's a nice feature. Any other questions from the Peanut Gallery?
We've got David from somewhere, Indiana.
Somewhere. I love that town.
Somewhere. Is Face ID on iPhone that bad? I'm due for an upgrade from my iPhone 6S, and I see the rumors for the 2020 iPhones to have Touch ID built into the screen. I've never used Face ID, so I have no opinion. However, I currently experience problems with Touch ID when my hands get a little bit of sweat and having to remove gloves can be a pain. I'm going to be making an upgrade this cycle, but I'm trying to decide on how much to spend if the 2020 release will have significant updates. Looking forward to your coverage of the Apple event. Thanks, David.
I am a fan of Face ID because I have a phone that does the in-screen Touch ID. And I find it to be not so great. This is the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.
Okay.
And you see it has a Touch ID in the screen, and it even shows you where you're supposed to touch it. And I don't know if Apple will do it this way or not, but I suspect they will. So basically, it's like the touch button is on the screen, and you do this. But did you see how long that took?
That was 9 hours.
Well, it wasn't really. It was about a second.
We sped it up. It was 9 hours.
It's long enough that it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
It doesn't work all that well. So it's very frequently the case that I have to do it a couple of times. It says press harder. Now, this is Samsung's version, which is using ultrasound to see your fingerprints. There is a much faster method that's used by OnePlus on its OnePlus 7 Pro. I don't have that with me, but it's almost as fast as Apple's Touch ID on older iPhone. It's really...
What technology does it use?
Virtually instantaneous. It's optical.
Okay.
So it's looking at your fingerprint through the screen. Unknown which Apple will use. I suspect, I don't know, and I'm not sure, but I suspect that the faster it is, the fast OnePlus, the less reliable it is.
Gotcha.
The more likely there'll be a false positive that somebody you don't like will be able to unlock your phone. So I'm not sure the fastest, most convenient unlocking mechanism is the best.
Better.
Apple did say briefly at its event today that they have updated Face ID in the new iPhone. It'll be able to do it at angles. We had heard this rumor that even when the phone is lying flat on the desk, it'll be able to see your face and unlock it. And that means it'll almost always be ready to go, even if you don't actually have the phone in your hands. The only time Face ID doesn't work well for me is in a low light situation. And actually, I shouldn't even,
okay, go ahead.
Not really low light when I'm in bed.
Okay.
It's dark, but I think it's more that my face is smushed on the pillow.
Yes, because I was going to say, so...
and it just doesn't recognize it when it's mushed like that.
I usually sleep underneath the covers. Like my head is not
like
outside.
Like a corpse?
Yes, like a corpse covered by my death veil.
You better, you should put a note on your door saying, just FYI.
I'm alive.
I'm alive. I just sleep under the covers.
That's a live shot of me at night. And even when I'm under the cover, like when I wake up in the morning and then I go to grab my phone or whatever, it
still works.
Even in the complete dark. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not light because Apple, of course, has an ultra infrared scanning technique that works in pitch black. It has its own light. But I do think it's probably my face is tilted or distorted.
Smushed, yeah. What I want to say to David is that I think that I'm curious if you feel this way, but I feel like a lot of the bad juju toward Face ID kind of came before Face ID actually launched, and the narrative was out there like, oh, we're worried about changing from Face ID to Touch ID. But then after it launched, for the most part, people have been pretty positive.
Apple says it's more secure. There are fewer false positives. The only issue with Face ID is if you have a twin or a family member who looks strikingly like you, maybe a parent or a sibling that looks so much like you that they may be able to unlock your device. But Apple says the chance of a false positive outside of twins or close family members is in the millions, 1 in a million, compared to fingerprint, which is more like 1 in 10,000. Fingerprints are not as unique as we think they are.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think Face ID is the right way to go. I think Apple chose it for technical reasons, not security reasons.
Right.
They just couldn't get a through-the-screen fingerprint reader working. Still don't have it this year. It is rumored they'll have it in 2020. It's nice to have the choice. I have the choice of Face ID on the Samsungs, but it's not as secure the way Samsung implements it, is my understanding. You know, read up on it. Because
is that the rainbow phone?
This is the rainbow phone. Ooh, yeah. It's better than green. It can be green.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could also be blue. Or
like an orange.
Whatever
Apple
color you
rest in
want.
peace orange.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Okay.
It's just a gimmick. It's a silly shit.
I like the Jason's LED case. It's so silly.
Yeah, that's also silly. Yeah. I think Face ID is fine.
I agree.
Stick with Face ID.
Yeah.
Even Google's moving to Face ID. You know.
I like having it when I'm in a driving situation and when, like if I'm going to go get in my car, I put my phone into the little mount that it goes on, and then I want to choose music before I get going. I just look at my phone. If I'm wearing gloves because it's cold, which now I live in California, so not as much of a deal, but at one point was, then I can just pop.
I think it's
tap
great.
The screen, turn it on. Yeah, I think Face ID is fantastic.
And this new Face ID, we'll one of the first things we'll look at when we get the new iPhone, this new Face ID that should work even if you're not at a straight-on angle.
Because the iPad already has some of that. The iPad Pro has it was a little bit better at being able to tell you from different orientations. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for the questions. We're going to get some app caps on in just a second. But first, a word from these great headphones, Aftershocks. We had somebody in the studio. He was wearing the new Aeropex, as I said, on Sunday, Tony. And he said, I love them. I said, I do too. He's a bicyclist, and he can wear these while he's bicycling without fear of, missing traffic behind him or emergency sirens. The Aftershocks headphones are unique because they don't go in your ear. They go over your ear. They use a patented bone conduction technology, and they sit on your cheekbones, which makes them supremely comfortable. I think they're the most comfortable headphones I've ever used. They sound amazingly good, and I'm not making this up. I mean, I thought initially when I first heard about them, they can't possibly sound as good as in-ear headphones. I think they sound better. And because they're so comfortable, because they're not in your ear, because I can talk to people, I can hear sirens, I use them when I'm exercising, but I also use them around the house. And these Aftershocks also have a microphone in them, so they're the ideal way to do conference calls, listen to music, listen to books. And with the battery life, they've got great battery life. I literally leave them on all day. Aftershocks, a very lightweight titanium wraparound headband that's flexible for durability and portability, and it keeps the Aftershocks on. You can exercise like a demon, and you will never lose your Aftershocks. Premium pitch guarantees a premium audio experience, wide dynamic range, and a very rich bass. You wouldn't think it from bone conductance, but yeah, it actually sounds better. Wireless Bluetooth 4.1 connectivity. It'll work with your new iPhone, your old iPhone, any device, and multi-point pairing. So I pair it to my Mac, to my iPad, to my iPhone. Whenever I get a FaceTime call or a Skype call or even a phone call, I just fire it up, and it works great. These are IP55 certified to repel sweat, dust, and moisture from workouts to bad weather. And when I say these are the original AfterShokz, but there's some new AfterShokz, the AeroPex. These are incredible. They have advanced audio, longer battery life, and they are waterproof, submersible up to 1 meter deep for 30 minutes. So these are even more waterproof. The original AfterShokz were moisture-proof, so you could wear them in the rain. You wouldn't have to worry about that or sweaty. They're great for outdoor activities, driving. You get to hear what's going on around you. And just wearing around the house, they're so comfortable.
Comfy.
And you could still talk to people. You're not isolated from them. We've got a great deal, too, right now for you, the AfterShokz Tech Bundle. Visit iostoday.aftershokz.com. Use the code iOS Today at checkout, and you'll get $50 off an AfterShokz Tech Bundle. There are a variety of different bundles. Check them out. And if you swim or you expect to get wet, take a look at the new AeroPex. These are great as well. That's what Tony had. He just loved them. AfterShokz. They sound so good. AfterShokz. AfterShokz. Not CKS, but KZ. iostoday.aftershokz.com. Don't forget the offer code, iOS Today, and you'll get $50 off the Tech Bundle. Offer valid only in the U.S. Thank you, AfterShokz, for making a great headphone. I just, they charge up in about an hour and a half, and they last pretty much all day. 6 hours of continuous music and calls. So you really can basically what I do is I put them on when I get home, I leave them on, and then when I go to bed, I just plug them in again, and they're ready for another full day of use. These are like my boon companions
for calling.
It is really great, isn't it?
Yes, because I can't have my hands not free when I'm on call.
Yeah,
I got to have them free.
Yeah.
So I put those on.
Oh, speaking of putting things on, it's time to go hunting. Now I have to apologize to any small children watching.
Do you?
Yeah, because I am still.
Oh, my
your friendly
Lord.
Leo Laporte.
I got to get out of here.
Well, if you're duck hunting,
you
don't want the duck to know what you're up to.
That's true. That is an old fable I've heard one time.
Yeah, this is I don't know where this came from. I am not a hunter.
Why does it have a mouth?
Well, because you got to talk.
Oh, it actually opens.
Oh yeah, so you can
you
suck
can do
down
your
a
duck,
deer.
You can do the those duck call things. Oh, gross. There you go.
Duck hunt. It's what I wear when I play the game. Why do we wear these silly caps, Mr. Mikah Sargent? Why?
We wear these silly caps because my head is so much bigger than this one and you want to torture me. No, it is because we are honoring our app.
I thought you were going to say our troops. You look
troops.
good, though. That color matches your suit quite nicely.
Our app picks of the week here on iOS Today. We have apps that we like. We have apps that we want to share. Oh, that's a good look. Yeah. I think you could use a corncob pipe. And we talk about them while we wear hats. Show
me yours and I'll show you mine.
Very well. Again, apologizing to all the children out there. So Revry, is an app available in the App Store that is 100%. It's an app and it's a service. It's a streaming service that is committed to LGBTQ content.
It's Revry, not Reverie.
Yes, correct.
R-E-V-R-Y.
Revry. It's like Reverend, but not.
Okay.
So this...
It's also sideways, but it's not going to stay that way because I wouldn't want to watch movies sideways.
Precisely. It's probably a bug with iOS 13.1. So this is full of there we go. This is full of all sorts of content devoted to LGBTQ plus folks, and includes not just like shows that are just now coming to Revry, but also originals that have been created by.
So they have Revry originals.
Yeah, Revry originals.
That's interesting.
Here.
Wow.
As well as new music releases for LGBTQ. What am I trying to say? Producers, creators,
performers,
performers, and podcasts as well.
Nice.
So you can check out different podcasts and subscribe to those right from within the app, and different shorts. So funny shorts and documentaries. I mean, it's got everything basically, but. I can remember growing up, No, but I can remember, when I was younger, and in a place where it wasn't as easy for me to access
your community,
that, I knew I was a part of, but didn't really get to be a part of.
Right.
And something like this would have been very helpful because for me, it was kind of
to know that there are other people like you in the world.
And that I can watch media that includes that.
It's probably also somewhat educational in the sense that you could see how people relate. That's really great, yeah.
And so I just think
there's isn't a lot of this on mainstream, although that's changing a lot.
It is.
There are far more shows on mainstream TV and especially on Netflix and places like that.
That's what I was going to say. So,
but you don't want to think everybody's RuPaul, right?
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the point there. I think that having to go to Netflix and try to find things, or go to Amazon Prime and try to find things, versus this where I could go to one place and be able to consume different content depending.
Awesome.
And like I said, I like that it's
now. How much is it?
So it is. I have it in this spreadsheet, so I'm going to switch back there really quick. I believe that you get
the app is free, of course.
The app is free to download. It's $6.99 a month, or $60 a year.
Oh, that's very fair.
Yeah, right. So $6.99 a month to stream all sorts of content.
Is there a lot of new content all the time?
Yes.
Or?
So with the new releases, those come out pretty frequently, including, like I said, the originals, which they're always updating. But also things
Are they from all over the world too?
Yes, it is international. There are a lot of incredible documentaries and some fantastic independent films that are within the library. Indie films, especially queer indie films, were some of my, they were very important for me at the time. When you support the music, when you support Revry, then of course you're supporting these independent artists and music and podcasts too.
That's
so
great.
You kind of feel good about subscribing to it and checking out. And there you see the world's first global queer streaming service. So it is global, and you have content from everywhere. And so queer artists also have a place to go and say, I'd like to share my content using Revry.
Just so point of order, queer does not mean male homosexual. That just could mean transgender, it could mean lesbian, it could be questioning, it could be any variety of kind of non-traditional orientations, right?
I think that is how so here's the thing is different people have different feel, but I would say that the sort of agreed upon meaning for the community, queer is a term that can sort of encompasses all sorts of
it's LGBTQ.
Yeah, exactly. Because at one point it was a term used to
just
hurt
for men.
Us.
Yeah. So you've owned it.
It was a slur, and now it's being owned.
Yeah. Nice. And if you're one of those people who likes to dress up like a Chiquita banana, there's something
then there's that for you as well.
Revry, REVRY. Now, I have an app that is something Apple showed today, and it piqued my interest. You can get it already, but I think some of the features that Apple showed on stage are going to have to wait till you get your new iPhone. But you might want to try now, because this is going to take a little while. It took me a little while. We had to figure it out together.
Yes, we did.
It's called FiLMiC, FiLMiC. Apple showed it on stage as a video. Oh, that's where the echo's coming from. Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Let me unplug the audio so we don't hear that. This is a movie-making app, but a movie-making app that goes well beyond what the video recorder does in the iPhone. So there is a big record button. There's also a play button, and you can see it has its own film store, but it also has you can also use the apps if you want. Should I shoot a video? Mikah, I couldn't figure out what you were doing. Micah's repositioned, and I thought, why is Mikah standing over there acting like a model? You clearly, wait a minute. No. Okay. Action. It's Micah's famous, I'm going down the stairs. No one has ever done this. I think you got it from watching too many episodes of The Office. So exactly. It is now, as you can see, it is now in my bin. It was 9 seconds. We could play it back. I just want you to see what I was seeing here. Let me plug in the sound for this. It looks even better in person than in person. But there's so much you can do with it. We've got, let me unplug that again. We've got a color wheel that lets you change the temperature and the tint. Now, this is an example of something that you can pay for. So it does have in-app purchases. For $13.95 or $99 right now, I can get the cinematographer kit. And I should point out, this is not an inexpensive app. It's $15 for the app, and then this is an additional feature. I am not going to buy this, though, because my suspicion is there'll be an additional packet that will do the things Apple showed. And this is what really is getting me excited. The FiLMiC producers were on stage. The guy who created FiLMiC was on stage during the Apple event, and he showed something that was so mind-boggling that I just have to get it the minute it's available. The new iPhone, of course, as all iPhones do, has a camera on each side. The back camera, which is the 3 lenses, and it's shooting away from you, and then the selfie cam, the front camera. But FiLMiC, you can see all the camera lenses, all 4 of the camera lenses on the iPhone Pro Max, all 4 of the camera lenses, and say, record these. He showed 2, maybe even more. You can as you're shooting, you can record a wide-angle version and a telephoto version of the same video, the same take. Or even more important for people like us,
incredible.
If you've ever done television news, and I know you have,
all of you.
You've certainly seen it many times. I'll give you a little secret of how the television news interviews work. Very often they're single camera shoots. So I'm going to interview Mikah. He's my guest on the show. I'm going to ask him my questions, which I have cleverly written down on a pad. Show the 2-shot real quickly so I can show. And I'm going to have the camera pointing at you, shooting your responses. But many's the time out in the field I've had to then say, thank you, Mikah. The camera operator goes over to Mikah's side and shoots me nodding, thinking, perhaps asking the question. That's the only way we can have edit points and go back and forth. What a waste of time. It's also very synthetic. It's not genuine. It's made up.
Yeah.
But 60 Minutes does it. Everybody does it. Now, if you've got a big budget, you might have 2 cameras. But honestly, most of the time, it's a single camera shoot, and that's how you do it. With FiLMiC, I can shoot my questions, have a video of me and a video of Michael answering, all on the same device, 2 separate video tracks, which I can then edit.
And what they point out there, it's unobtrusive. You've got this one little thing.
It's a little camera.
And it's not all this extra equipment that you've got set up. It makes it so fast.
So I think I've already mentioned this. One of the things I'm looking at these new cameras, and I'll be looking at the Pixel 4 as well, is to use at CES in January. Aunt Pruitt and I are going to go down. We're going to do the Aunt and Leo show at CES. You're invited if you want to come, too. But somebody's got to stay back here and hold down the fort. We'll do the Aunt and Leo show. And what I want to do is just use the iPhone shoot. I'll probably put FiLMiC on it and just go up to booths with the iPhone. I'll probably put it on a gimbal, hold it like this, interview people, and record both sides of it.
That's going to be
everything's done. I don't have to go, what do you think? I don't have to do a second shot with reverses. This is going to be huge. So I'm very intrigued by this new feature. FiLMiC 6.0 is out. You can buy it now. I did, because I think you might want to take a look at all the different features. There's a ton of stuff built into this. It's a very powerful, professional-grade program. And
they've also got a second app, the FiLMiC Remote, which I finally figured out. That is if you wanted to have an iPad or an iPhone that's doing the main camera
sit
stuff.
Here and you have something on a tripod over there.
And it works as the remote app to show you, look, color meters, all sorts of things.
This is, I was very impressed with the short demo on stage. Immediately went out and bought FiLMiC, and I'll be testing this as soon as in a week and a half we get the iPhone 11. I can't wait to see how this does that. And if it does it well, there's not going to be a competition.
Right.
The Pixel 4 will not be going to Las Vegas in January. It'll be an iPhone 11 Pro Max. Just really, really exciting. So that's my pick of the week. And I only mention it because you might want to take a look at it now. Here are some of the amazing, complicated settings. You've got resolution, and you all sorts of cropping. The quality you want to use.
Oh, you can use HEVC.
HEVC. You can choose a frame rate, 24 frames. And it's, by the way, completely variable. You could choose the big names, even 240 frames per second. Audio, you can have use the iPad's built-in mic. You can choose what format it's recording in. You can use the front mic, or, and this is probably the other thing I'll be doing, using a Bluetooth mic, like our mic that we love from mic.me. This is going to be incredible. You could choose a device. There's lots of presets. There's content management system, including time codes. Time codes. That's something every professional wishes these camera phones did. We can even shoot an anamorphic. It also does log, which is fantastic. Oh, that's the FiLMiC Sync allows you, and I will probably do this, to sync your presets. So you might want to sign up for FiLMiC Sync. There is a community where you can share with other people, but it also shares directly to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Vimeo. I notice it still has Google
G+.
That's going to make me cry. This is just fantastic. I think this is. I had never heard of it. You could turn image stabilization on or off. Now that Apple has shown this, and it's particularly shown new features as they're going to work with the new iPhone 11, I'm very excited. So that's FiLMiC, FiLMiC, and the new version 6 is just out. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. This has been a long day. We got up early, watched the Apple event, took notes, memorized, drank a bunch of coffee. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that was...
Diet Pepsi. And that's some good drinking, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't show that. That's a different company.
Oh, darn it.
Is it? Or is it the same company?
I thought it was Pepsi.
Dr. Pepper, Pepsi or Coke?
I thought it was Pepsi.
I thought it was Coke. Well, we'll never know.
Is it Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola. Thanks, everybody.
It is Pepsi.
It's Pepsi. Good. Put it back down. We thank you for joining. It's kind of like, American Idol. Thanks.
This is or Andy Griffith's show.
Yeah, or the Andy Griffith. Thanks for joining us on iOS Today. Normally, we're at a weird time right now, which is why we're punchy, because it's like practically bedtime. But normally we do this at 9 a.m. Pacific. That's noon Eastern time. That would be about 1600 UTC. If you want to stop by and watch the show, you can. You can watch or listen at twit.tv/live. You can participate in the chat room, mock us directly at irc.twit.tv. And, of course, you can download copies of the show anytime you want by going to twit.tv/iOS. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Mikah Sargent.
Thank you so much for joining us. Send your questions to iOS Today at twit.tv. And we'll see you next week on iOS Today. Bye-bye. And have a Pepsi.
Oh, my God.